Hello, good morning. Welcome, Blue Sky friends. That's who you are. Yeah, I love that we named this group was named Blue Sky Friends. I think it was it's a really beautiful story. Um, and but essentially there was what do you call it? A contest. A contest to see what we would call this precious organization. And someone in a gathering came up with this idea of blue sky. And then they just added friends to it. So it's really sweet. And I feel so honored to be a part of this beautiful community and very grateful for your interest in being here. Um, I'm so happy to see some familiar faces, our beautiful uh, interpreters who are just so devoted to helping us, like Anastasia and Tatiana and I think it's Ivo. Nice to see you. Yeah, and then Anna from the Ukraine. It's so nice. And I love to see. Hi, Gina. Thanks for hosting and helping us. Bettina, Natasha, hello. I'm so happy to see you all. Um, yeah, so we're still kind of exploring the compassionately embracing grief, navigating loss with kindness, courage, and care. I've been wanting to uh, it- give you different topics or series in the future on different topics. But I'll tell you something. This topic alone could be the topic forever because there's so much to learn and so much to explore and know about how to be with others in grief and how to be with your own grief. It's a wilderness landscape. And so it deserves a lot of attention. So that's why we're at part 6 of this series. And so today, what I thought we would do is a short embodiment practice along with a quiet reflection and intention setting. And then what we'll do is explore some readings and do some reflections on a specific topic, which this offering has more of a poetic feel to it. I always add poetry. I think it's very connected to what our heart really feels. And we often connect in to listening to another person's experience, and that opens up our hearts. So, for the embodiment practice, I'm going to share a little something about that. So, oftentimes, uh, it can be difficult for those who have experienced any kind of loss, any kind of death, particularly sudden death or swift loss of someone, or sometimes a very long caregiving journey where you're so focused on taking care of that other person, your beloved, that you haven't had time to feel much. And sometimes when the loss happens, it's almost like, wait, did that happen? I was with them all the time. And there's a kind of almost like a denial, even though you were watching them die. And there can be other circumstances of loss similar that are also difficult, uh, where it's difficult to be present in your own body as the survivor of someone that you lost. There's sometimes a feeling of just not wanting to be in a body when the sensations of emotions of grief are strong. And I say sensations and I say emotions because they're two different things, actually. The emotions are all those feelings that come up in the mind and they have a quality to them. And sensations can be sensations in the body, right? Sensations of tears coming down here, sensations of your stomach dropping out when you remember that your loved one isn't next to you, like that. So it's helpful to have a toolbox of care tools, right? And I say care tools because those care tools can be for you as a caregiver, as a griever. They can also be something you learn to help someone else. So they can be self-care and other care tools. And what those care tools can be used for is to help invite short moments of embodiment and support regulation of the nervous system and those strong emotions for the bereaved. Sometimes we get frozen, almost have amnesia. I don't know what to do. It's like being a little bit in a panic, like, where are my tools? I don't remember what they are. So uh, I encourage you to write them down if you can remember them from the other offerings. And if not, we have recordings so you can go back. And usually I offer them in the very beginning of every offering here. So today we will be doing a short, very gentle chair yoga. How about that? I'm a yoga teacher of 20 years, 21 years now, I think more. It's been a while. And I've taught many types of classes. And I love teaching gentle chair yoga. And this is what I call a joint release series, where you kind of warm up your body just sitting in the chair, warming up your joints, getting life-giving fluid into the joints. Okay. So let's start. Okay, so you just sit in your seat wherever you are. You can be sitting in cross-legged, you can be sitting in a chair, and nice straight spine is nice to keep the heart open and the spine tall. And just feel what happens to yourself when you lift your spine. This alone is an all-day yoga practice, but it's an all-day practice for anybody. You don't have to be a yogi that bends himself into a pretzel. You can practice yoga just by sitting straight, and it helps you feel a little bit brighter. There's a saying, physiology changes your state. Now, I'm going to invite you to do something else. Watch this. Okay, everybody slump now. Oh, yeah, I see the slumps. How does that feel? You're like, do you have a different emotion? Yeah, it's kind of, I don't feel like it. Or I feel sad. Or a sigh comes out. I'm so tired. I should be saying that because it's 7 in the morning. Okay, now back to the straight spine. Back, lift up, draw in your belly, lift up your heart, look around the room and make a little smile. Good. Now we're going to just start moving the head from side to side. Just breathe normally, in and out. Come back to center. Tuck your chin to your chest. Lift the chin to the sky. Chin to chest. Exhale. Chin to sky. Inhale. Down. Up. Come back to center. And now just let your head roll. Roll around. And go the other direction. And come back to center. And roll the shoulders. Just getting to know your body top to bottom. We're going from the top to the bottom. Other direction. Yeah. Open your arms, lift your chest, and then hug yourself and look inward. Stretch the back. Inhale, open slowly, lift up. Exhale, curl. Inhale, open, smile. Exhale, curl and hug. And inhale, open again. Good. And then relax and take your hands on your lap. And you're going to just move your torso. So you're going to see all your friends moving around on their screen. Yeah. Good. And other direction. Good. And then from here, take your left hand and place it on your right thigh. And then just reach behind you and look over your right shoulder. And relax and take the right hand onto your left thigh and reach back and look over your left shoulder. And come back to center. Take your hands, rub them together, and rub your kneecaps. Rub your kneecaps. One direction and then the other direction. Good. And then take your, this is the last one. This is the most fun one. I like it. So you make a little fist like this, thumb into here, and you're going to roll through the wrists and the ankles at the same time. Yeah, good. Roll the ankles and wrists. Good. And then the other one, other way. Nice. Last, well, this is really the last thing. Now shake it all out. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Gives you a little energy. Yeah. And then relax. Now, for the quiet reflection, we're just going to take the left hand here and place it on the heart. Your other hand can go on your lap. And you can keep your eyes open or you can keep keep them closed if you like to close them. Pardon me. And just take a moment to give your attention to this gesture that you've made towards your own heart. And that even something as simple as a gesture of your own hand upon your own heart can offer some comfort to yourself. And then you can also think about somebody you care about that might need some comfort, as if you are even making a gesture toward them inside of your heart. And imagine that you shared with them this little tool, and they're doing it too. And they are getting a little ease and a little peace from it. And let's together set the sweet intent for today to open our hearts to the possibility that we can cultivate greater capacity to support our loved ones, to support our communities, who will come to experience loss or are already in the midst of that experience. And that we can do that, increase that capacity by growing skills and knowledge for helping them. And then just take a deep couple of breaths. You can relax your hand down and transitioning from the intention and reflection. And when you're ready, opening your eyes if they are not already open. Okay, so now welcome back. I'm so glad uh, we got in a little movement and a little, I hope that feels good. And notice how your body feels from doing just a little bit. It's so good. And something so gentle like this can be extremely helpful when the body's tired, the body is working with all those emotions, let's say when one is grieving. You might only want to do a little bit in your life at that time, and this could be the little bit. So please share it. Yeah. So the reading, I've chosen several readings for today, and they're very tender because it's a really sweet topic. So we'll just jump in. Recently, my mother sent me a poem, and it was really one of the most touching things she's ever shared with me. Uh, so 2 years ago, my father and my mother's lifelong husband, partner, best friend passed away quite quickly. He was diagnosed with metastatic cancer, uh, and we didn't know that he had cancer until he was hospitalized or until he went to the hospital. And so 2 years ago, a grief journey began for each of us. Now, my mother's journey, especially having known my dad so closely for 60 years, I can only imagine that journey has been very tender, very deep, with a lot of pain and sadness. I've gotten glimpses of that from her, but she's private, and I respect that. But she has shared some really beautiful things with me, and one of them is this poem. And she's found things like this to bring herself some comfort, hope and solace. And I think it bridged a connection between she and I with regards to my loss, suddenly, of my own partner, whom I was only with for a few years. So I wish to share this poem with you today. It's called Love Came First by Donna Ashworth. You don't move on after loss, but you must move with. You must shake hands with grief, welcome her in, for she lives with you now. Pull her a chair at the table. Offer her comfort. She is not the monster you first thought her to be. She is love. And she will walk with you now, stay with you now peacefully, if you let her. And on the days when your anger is high, remember why she came. Remember who she represents. Remember. Grief came to you, my friend, because love came first. That poem always makes me cry. It's so sweet. I'm gonna put it in the chat for you here, so you have it. Here you go. And it just starts off our topic for today. And rather than me talk about it, I'd like to invite everyone to take a moment to sit with the feeling you are having from this reading. And you can read it again in the chat, and I know it needs to be translated or interpreted, but I'll read it again. And I think it's really worthwhile reading it again. And what I want to invite you to do is to sit with the feeling of it and think about someone in your life that you have had a close relationship with who passed away. Somebody, your parent, could be a partner, could be a friend, grandparent. For some, this may be very fresh, so go gently. For others, might be more in the distant past. In either case, you may be experiencing now or can recall experiencing grief about that loss, that absence of your beloved. But as this poem invites, it invites us to recall the love we had and still have for that person. I say have because love doesn't end when a person dies. We still have the love. It's not like we had the love, right? So some of you are putting this beautiful, these translations into the chat. I'll read it again. And I'd like you to just really let it wash and let yourself feel for one person, the container that holds both the love and the grief. You don't move on after loss, but you must move with. You must shake hands with grief. Welcome her in, for she lives with you now. Pull her a chair at the table and offer her comfort. She is not the monster you first thought her to be. She is love. And she will walk with you now, stay with you now, peacefully, if you let her. And on the days when your anger is high, remember why she came. Remember who she represents. Remember. Grief came to you, my friend, because love came first. Love came first. So just an honoring silence to take a moment to really be with that container that you hold in your own heart for your beloved. Mm. It's very possible that we may feel the pangs of grief about the loss of our loved one for the rest of our lives. But also, it will shift It will change. It will show us things, deepen our compassion. And the love that we have for them continues on in our hearts because the heart aches from their absence. And it's because it is the love that we shared with them in presence in our lives that touched our lives forever. It's very easy to get lost in the grief part. And that is very common, actually. But grief is a part of life because of love. And it's so important to remember the love, the good, the beauty. I had a pretty hard time with this very thing after the sudden loss of my partner, Michael, who now has been gone about 9 years now. And I think that the the trauma of that loss was so consuming for quite a while for me. And later, I realized it was because I felt so much love for this most precious and beautiful human. And now that he was gone from the earth, it just hurt so much, so deeply, right? Then something happened yesterday as I was preparing this offering for today. It was a personal poetic moment. It suddenly struck me that the name we were deciding to call the only song that we had a chance to co-write together. He was a musician, and I was kind of a closet musician. The name we were going to call this song because we wanted to record it at some point suddenly appeared to me yesterday as a sacred message all along. And I only saw it yesterday, 9 years later. And I think it was meant to be shared for this very moment right now. Initially, we were undecided what to call the song. It was a toss-up between two names. Then we decided it should be both. The main name and then putting the second name in parentheses. Okay. But now I understand something, how things arise as beautiful messages from beyond in some way. So we call the song Love is Here. And in parentheses, ain't going anywhere. Love is here and it ain't going anywhere. It's a love song, right? But it's also can be applied as a loss song as well. When I review the lyrics in my mind, I hear uh, the narrator, which is me, falling in love. I could hear the song as someone falling in love. And then I turned and I was like, I can hear the song as someone who's lost also. Because love really doesn't go anywhere. Being able to express that love the way we once did changed. With that person who's not there, right? We become robbed of that opportunity, which is what bereavement means, to be robbed of something. The dictionary definition of bereavement is when we are deprived of a close relation or friend through their death. And this feeling feels like it's like the stomach bottoming out, or a sense of disbelief that the person is not here anymore. And it can be confusing. I remember in the very early stages of grieving sudden loss, I would wake up and, in one sense, not remember what happened. It was like a bad dream, and I woke up to the bad dream again. And then when it occurred to me that Michael had died, it was like another shock to my system. And this can be very common in sudden, swift experiences of loss. But over time, as we grieve in our own time and time passes, many kinds of the emotions that we've had begin to integrate. And sometimes the love has a chance to poke through the clouds like a sun, like the sun, to remind us that the clouds are not the only thing in the sky. There's suns and there's blue sky and rainbows and birds. There's other things in the sky besides the rainy clouds. So I'd like to share another reading for contemplation. This is very deep today. This is where we're really touching on that tender point in our own heart that each of us have in this room here today, right? And giving ourselves a chance to crack it open a little more And we have the capacity to do that. I was thinking of the line from, I wasn't planning to share this, but one of the lines in our song is, it takes a moment, breaks open, you feel the space, and now there's something that you're living for. And when you think you just can't take it, your heart, it shakes and cracks you open just a little more. That's the last verse of the song. So this reading from Love is Here, right? The song Love is Here. All right. So this is from a book called Grieving is Lovin', this one. And it's by Dr. Joanne Cacciatore, who is a wonderful author. She wrote a book called Bearing the Unbearable. Very popular book because a lot of people got a lot of benefit from it, feeling seen in their experience. And Joanne is a researcher. She goes by Dr. Joe. She's a researcher. She's a teacher. She's a counselor. And she's a bereaved mother of a baby that she lost, Cheyenne. And she created an organization called the Miss Foundation, MISS Foundation. And I discovered her during my grief process. Somebody shared with me about her book, a friend in my community. And she says, "Oh, by the way, Joanne lives near you." I said, "Well, where?" She said, "In Cornville." And I said, "Cornville? That's like 20 minutes from where I live." So I wrote her a letter, an email. I said, "Can I come meet you?" I wanted to meet her. And she said, "Sure, come to my farm." So she has a farm called Selah Care Farm. And Selah Care Farm is a beautiful piece of property in Cornville where Joanne and her family have numerous rescue animals that they have taken in to take care of. Emaciated pigs, beaten horses, blind dogs, all sorts of animals, goats, chickens, multiple horses. But the first three that I mentioned, when a person is grieving, you can feel like that and just want to be taken in. And so the reason she's working in this way is that she brought those animals back to life through nurturing them, caring for them with her own hands. And that helped her to heal her own grief. And then she opened the farm up to her clients to come and work with the animals to help them with their grief, especially parents who have lost children. And so when I met with her on this farm, I was so, so moved. Had a very beautiful, deep conversation with her in the gazebo, surrounded by all these animals. And I met the blind dog, and I met the beaten horse, and I met that emaciated pig, but they were now the plump pig, the strong horse. And the dog's still blind, but he's getting a lot of love. And so she says the animals really are more than a metaphor for what we are trying to do to help others who are in grief. All sentient creatures deserve that care. So here's the contemplative reading from her book, Grieving is Loving. And I'm reading it from here. Otherwise, I would put it in the chat. But we only deeply mourn what we deeply love. We can, for a time, hide from our trauma and grief as if they don't exist. But we cannot hide from the consequences of hiding from our trauma and grief. And then she wrote a little poem. I think this is her poem about the loss of her daughter. After you died, all things changed. Dust collected around the house. Payments went unpaid and calls unreturned. Casseroles went uneaten. Teeth unbrushed. Plants unwatered. Thank you cards unmailed. After you died, the smell of rain disappeared. Birds lost their melody. Stones turned to ash. And clouds to concrete. The sky surrendered its blue. Grasses withered and trees fell. After you died, a part of me did too. And what remained collapsed under the weight of your constant absence, and all things changed. And I realized that all things had to change because my world could not remain the same without you. sameness would not sufficiently honor the holiness of your mark upon my heart. The longing for every part of you. Even parts I would never know. After you died, all things changed. All things changed, except for my love for you. We begin to realize that there is no time or place when we won't feel the density of our loved one's absence. Feeling this, touching this, is the place where we can meet our beloved ones over and over through the course of our lives. In spite of, and indeed because of, our deep grief and never-ending love. So let's allow for just a little tiny bit more of silent time now to be present and reflect on these words and what meaning they evoke around your own experience of love and loss. Allowing yourself to honor the sacredness of your losses, both the grief and the love. Now together we have shared some very precious time together. And let's share that goodness by dedicating it to those we have loved and lost. sending them your love and dedicating it also to those who are currently in the midst of the deep heat of grief, sending love and light to them. May they find ease and may they find peace. So thank you everyone for coming today. I would really love if you'd like to just share anything in the comments. You can just put your heart into the comments, as you know, if you want into the chat, I should say. I'm also going to put some resources for you if you haven't uh, bumped into them yet. So I'll explain them, but I just want to hear, yeah, just and like share the love that you feel in your heart. Yeah. I like that one. It makes the, how do you guys do that? I don't know how you do that. Oh, yay, Marina, Svetlana. So nice that you're here. It's such a sweet energy, all of us. Bettina, thank you for interpreting today and all the beautiful interpreters. Ludmila, thank you. Anna, thank you. Yeah. Here come the resources. These are just some of the, if anyone you know needs grief support, they can click on this link and find us and make an appointment with me. Um, they're free. You don't have to pay. So you can help people by letting people know. Even if it's somebody that speaks a different language, you know, and they need help. And if you want to interpret for them, you can do that. Uh, and then the second link is our YouTube channel with all of our beautiful teachings, offerings by Ellie and Gail and myself. And now Laura is also teaching with us. So we're really happy to have her too. Wow. Thank you so much for coming today. And I hope this felt more interactive. I want to actually hear from you in the future. We're looking to do that at some point. I just need to talk to Gail about that, but we're working toward that. But I hope we had a nice exchange today with these readings and contemplations. And I look forward to doing more with you next time. Okay. Everybody, if I don't think people can unmic, if you can, then we can unmic it or just wave or do hearts and then we'll go. Yay! Yay! Beautiful. Yay. Much love and thanks. And have a beautiful day. Take good care. All right. Bye-bye.